I'm here today to be a voice for women in Ohio. I say we do matter. I am here for the women who could not be here today, for the countless women who have reached out to me after every time I tell my story, to tell me that they are still hurting too much to tell their own stories. I am here for the women who are afraid to speak out. I am here to be heard because we will not be silent and we will not ask permission to speak. I used to say, when I would come out to press conferences, that I was speaking for myself. I was tired of being silent, and I knew that my story needed to be shared. Some of you may have heard my story before, but for those of you who haven't, just over 10 years ago, I was raped. I knew my rapist. He was my best friend's older brother. I even had a crush on him, and we had kissed before. But I was 13, and he was 18, and it was what we call statutory rape. As a 24-year-old woman standing before you today, it terrifies me to think about what could have happened if I had gotten pregnant when I was 13, especially without family support. I may not have graduated from high school, let alone college, and knowing now as an adult the ramifications of an action that I had no control over as a child, how grateful am I that Planned Parenthood exists, that abortion is legal in the state of Ohio, and I have the ability to be here today as an advocate for my younger self. Today, I'm here for the women who could not be here. I know of the ones who have contacted me and thanked me, told me their stories and shared with me their pain. Today, I'm here to say that I am tired of these women telling me their stories, as tired as they are of telling them, of hiding them, and of being ashamed of them. I am tired that we as women have so many stories to tell. I am here as an advocate for 6 women in Clark County, Ohio, whom I may or may not have met before, whose names I cannot tell you. 6 women, all roughly my age now, with children who would have just started junior high or high school last month. I know this could happen to someone else, and I know that it's happened to many young girls in Ohio, and I am not alone. I know that others are not as fortunate as I am. According to the Ohio Department of Health, there were 7,287 pregnancies for girls ages 10 through 18 in Ohio in 2010. In Clark County, Ohio, in 2003, when I was 13, there were 6 pregnancies for 10 to 14-year-olds. You can't tell me that all 6 of those little girls wanted to be mothers, were ready for that responsibility, or willingly gave their children away for adoption. As someone who could have been the 7th, I stand before you as an advocate for those 6. I know this could happen to someone else, which is also why I'm grateful for those of you here today. I'm grateful for the entire women's health movement, for every individual who supports a woman's right to choose and have access to preventative health care. I am also grateful that we have a president, a U.S. senator, state senators, and state representatives who have stood strong and worked to expand access to health care for millions of women and young people. I would like to thank Representative Clyde for sponsoring this press conference and for her unwavering support of Ohio women, and Representative Carney, who also deserves our gratitude for being a strong advocate on the House Health and Aging Committee. I thank you both for trusting women, for hearing our voices, and for standing up for us against these attacks on our freedom to make our own decisions. You know, sometimes when I'm at a rally or while I'm surfing Facebook or other social media sites, I come across signs that are held by other older women that read, "Didn't we already do this in the 70s?" or "Can you believe I still have to protest this?" Unfortunately, my answer to both of these rhetorical questions is yes. Yes, we already did this in the 60s and 70s in this country, and yes, I have to believe that we have to do it again today in 2013. I am already exhausted by this fight. I can't imagine how tired I will be in another 40 or 50 years. We know that's the opposition's strategy. They want to wear us down, burn us out, shut us up. It wears me out to stand up in front of a crowd and tell my story. I've been told I'm good at public speaking, but I'm shaking like a leaf. I have to be here. We have to be here. Because what they don't understand is that we are more than our stories. I am a person who has to relive some of my trauma every time I tell my story. And it is exhausting. But I am more than my story. I am a survivor, an activist, an advocate, and most importantly, I am a person. I am more than my story. And we are more than our stories. We are stronger than they give us credit for. We will not sit down and shut up. When women's rights are under attack, we will stand up and fight back. We will not be silenced. Even when we aren't allowed to testify, we will find another way to have our voices heard. Though it is becoming apparent that our words are falling upon deaf ears on the other side of the aisle, but maybe under the Affordable Care Act, Governor Kasich and Representative Washburn can afford new hearing aids. They may not be listening, but we're going to keep talking. We will talk for 13 hours straight if we have to. We will talk to our friends and our families in living rooms and church basements, in the streets, and here in the people's house. We will tell our stories and we will ask the hard questions, the questions the other side doesn't want to answer. Why are women ashamed or afraid of sharing their stories? Why are there so many stories to tell in the first place? Why is it estimated that 1 in 3 women will be sexually assaulted in their lifetime? Around the globe, women are predominantly the victims of poverty, domestic violence, sexual assault, and other trauma, and with them, their children. Why? If what is happening in Ohio, in Texas, in the United States, and around the world doesn't make you angry, you're not paying attention. Many people aren't. Education about reproductive justice is a radical act in a hostile political climate. It is time for a real social justice movement in this country, and we know that it will come from the women. It will come from the women because we are disproportionately affected by diminished access to reproductive health care so as to keep us barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. We are disproportionately affected by cuts to public services and public education for our children, taking away their vocabulary to talk about the injustice in their lives. We are disproportionately affected by the misappropriation of funds for public welfare through TANF for crisis pregnancy centers, taking needy families out of the equation to fund the anti-women agenda of an unregulated propaganda machine, social security for corporate welfare. It will come from the women because it is women who know all too well the burden of ignorance, of stereotypes, of racism, sexism, and injustice. And it has to come from the women because social justice is reproductive justice. Reproductive justice is the foundation upon which social justice is built. It has to come from the women, and our opposition knows that, and they are afraid of us. And you know what? They should be. We are women scorned, and hell hath no fury greater. Press conferences don't change the world. People do. You do. I thank you for being here today. I thank you for being advocates, activists, and allies. But remember that it's not enough just to be here today, to shake hands and pat backs for fighting the good fight. I hope you get angry today. I hope you get angry tomorrow. I hope you get angry enough to get together with your friends and talk about how angry you are. And then I hope your anger catalyzes into action. I hope you get so tired of being angry that you feel like you just can't get angry anymore, and then I hope you get angry about that. I hope you get angry. Women and the men who love us have to get angry. We have to be unafraid of our anger and be able to harness its power if we are ever, and I mean ever, going to reclaim our bodies, our lives, and our right to decide what to do with both.